Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of the ATW After the Whistle Summer Special. I am your host, Jimmy Cody, and I am joined by two other special guests. One of them, and my other host, Jeffrey Bozzi. Jeffrey, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good, Jimmy. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Jack McCormick is our special guest today. He's, I guess, chief fan of the Greyhound basketball team. That's how I would label him. He is maybe he's the number one fan. I guess that's probably the best way to label him. The number one fan of the Loyola Greyhound men's basketball team, Jack McCormick. Jack, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. It's good to be back.
Yeah, we haven't heard from you in a while. Obviously we remember you from when you came on right before the championship game, and you were electric. But you and I went at it a little bit. Obviously, you made some hot takes, and you were just getting a little ridiculous at some points. But you know what? Overall, you were a good guest. So I guess we decided to have you back on. I don't know who did that, but I guess somebody decided to welcome you back. But I'm excited because we have some interesting news to talk about around our men's basketball team. We have some good, some not so good. But you know what? Another year means another chance to possibly make the tournament in a league that's going to be wide open. So let's get into it. Obviously, the big news was that Santi Aldama, who was pretty much our star player. Let's not put it any other way. Like, this guy was the heart and soul of our team. He left. Obviously, we know last season that we made it to the Patriot League championship, and we were pleasantly surprised with how good the team played. But some people like you, Jack, kind of expected it. You thought that we always had the talent to make that kind of run, and we did. And a lot of the players played their A game. Unfortunately, we got to the championship and came up short. But nonetheless, was a great season, and then we were hoping we were going to return all starters, and unfortunately, we're hit with the news that Santi is going to choose to go professional. And I don't know about you guys. I want to hear both your thoughts about this. But when he entered his name into the draft pool, I knew that this had the potential to happen, but I didn't ever really see it realistically happening. Like, I really didn't think that he would leave. I'm interested to hear what both of what you say. Jeffrey, you can go first.
No, obviously, like you said, this is a huge loss for the team. I mean, like you said, he's the heart and soul of the team. He's the best player on the team. I mean, he would take that team as far as like he could take them. I mean, if he's just dominating on the floor, everyone would feed off of that. And like you saw in the Patriot League tournament this past season, you saw him dominate. He's putting up points in the 20s and he's getting these double doubles. And even when he's like double team, he's getting open shots for other people. So obviously, it's a huge loss for the team. We're definitely going to miss him. I mean, because coming into this season, especially off of the run that we made in the Patriot League tournament, I think we were definitely going to be one of the top favorites to win the league, maybe even the favorite. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. But we are definitely going to miss him. And as far as his decision going pro, I mean, I guess I have to say, like, good for him. I mean, obviously, he can pursue whatever he wants. And obviously, professional career is ultimately the end goal for him. Now, you can question whether he came out like early. I mean, that's a debate that you can have, but I guess it's good for him. I mean, obviously, it's a personal decision. I mean, no one can stop him from making that decision. But obviously, we can be upset as Loyola fans, Loyola students, because we won't see him play next season. And obviously, it's a huge blow to the team. I mean, anytime you lose your best player in any sport, it's definitely a huge loss. And this is no different. I mean, he's the go-to guy on offense. Like, you can see him on the floor. He's that vocal leader. It's definitely gonna be a huge blow. But I'm excited for these returning players that we have and these new players that we'll get into a little bit later. But definitely, I'm upset that he's leaving. But obviously, I understand that it's a personal decision. So that's all I have to say for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of the things too, and Jack, I'll get to you in 1 second, but I just want to read this off because it just popped in my head. He was only one of the last 25 seasons of college basketball. This was a stat that was shown during the Patriot League championship game. There've only been four players who have accomplished this, and it's over 20 points, over 10 rebounds, and to make a three in every single game. Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, Michael Beasley, and Santi. Now that's insane when you think about it. So I just wanted to put that out there. Jack, over to you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it definitely is a tough blow losing Santi. We were looking
I just
to
want to ask, how upset were you when it happened? Like on a scale of like 1 to 10, like I know you live, breathe, die Greyhound basketball. Like realistically, like how upset were you? Because I'm not gonna lie, like I was really upset because I really didn't see it coming. Like I don't know about you, but like when I saw it, I was like, all right, like we're gonna be making this run next year. Like hopefully March Madness is in the cards. And then when he left, I just kind of didn't see it coming. I guess I was blindsided when I shouldn't have been. So I was really surprised. Like, what? I mean, you're more into it than I am. So
Yeah. No, it was definitely tough. I went to work the next day. I had to double, and I was walking around, and I was like, "Damn, Santi's gone." And was really I'm looking to plan this event to get a tailgate going, to try and get people to go to the first home game, and it was gonna be great to be like, yeah, like we'll go see Santi, but he just left.
it's like
So
it's like air coming out of a balloon. It
right,
just like got
and
sucked all out.
right, and it's nice to have Andre. I think how you say his last name is it's Yakimovsky. Yakimovsky, I think
The
is how you
the
pronounce it.
transfer that you're talking about, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So having him come back gives me a little bit more life, I think. It's nice to have someone who will be able to produce coming from the Pac-12 in Washington State. But on Santi, like you were saying, Jimmy, I think it's really surprising that he opted not to come back. I thought he was a lock to go first round next year. Um, and if he had some time, made a little postseason run, you never know what happens. He could have been a lottery pick, but now it's just like he's going to be late second round.
That
And
is one thing that I actually agree with you. And I don't want to say that he'll be late second round because honestly, we don't know. But I will say this. I think a player like him had, and this isn't really his fault because he did get injured the first year. You know what I mean? He did stay 2 years. Unfortunately, he got injured the first year, and then the team at the season were starting to look pretty good. This was 2 years ago now, so we started putting the pieces together, and then we kind of just fell apart with injuries, and the timing never really worked out. But the team was loaded with, I think, talent was certainly there between Kosteka and Santi, and all the other guys. But I mean, had he stayed another year, and you could argue that he probably would improve with another season, right? Like I think that's definitely true. He would probably become an even
he
better
would have
player.
CJ McCollum too. CJ
Yeah,
McCollum.
okay. Yeah, well, whatever. We don't have to make the comparisons. I'm just saying he would have obviously or more than likely improved on the season he had.
Right.
Well, obviously with that, knowing that the league is kind of wide open, with Burns leaving and Colgate kind of losing some of their guys.
They lost
You
Nelly
know,
Cummings too.
yeah, well, Loyola probably would have been the favorite. Jeffrey's right. And you know what? With all that comes all the attention. And with the attention becomes the spotlight onto Santi. His draft stock probably could have got risen even more. Now, especially too, had we gotten into, like March Madness, say we had won our league, we obviously had the potential to do it. His stock would have went up even more if he played well. You know what I mean? Like a player like him, it was I think he was just starting to catch fire, like within basketball circles, like his name. Obviously a lot of people knew him and we knew him at Loyola, but I'm saying like nationally, I think he was starting to get the attention kind of at the end of the season. And, I'm just saying, I think he could have got even more attention, which would have helped his draft stock. Of course, I'm never going to say like, oh, nope, he shouldn't have went. Because we have to see where he goes in the draft. You know what I mean? If he gets drafted in the late first round or mid first round, like congratulations. I wish him all the best. Say he goes undrafted, which I don't think is going to happen personally, but say it does happen, you have to look at it and you kind of have to question his decision was like, hey, like, did he maybe get lied to by some teams? Like, we hear about that all the time in all these sports about how guys are like, they hear, oh, hey, the teams are interested, and then they never pick you. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
exactly, it's I don't want to say it's a shady thing because it's not really shady. It's just that, it happens sometimes. But you know what? I wish him all the best. I really do hope that he has a nice NBA, hopefully, career. I would love to see him, I would love to see him, be in the NBA because there's not anybody else from Loyola who's in the NBA. You know what I mean? Obviously, Coach Mike Malone of the Nuggets Denver Nuggets is from Loyola, but besides
That's
that,
what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. The Nuggets have a
You-
pick at 24. I think he could go late first. Like, I mean, he declared for the draft. Like, if he probably got told by the Nuggets and that Loyola Maryland connection that he
you
was
think
gonna,
just because the coach went to Loyola
it's a
Maryland
connection.
that he's just
It's a
going to pick him?
connection,
I mean,
dude.
I don't. No, I don't think that
The
it's that
business world
crazy
is
of an
connections,
idea.
man.
There
It's
are
all
weird
connections.
connections. I mean, there are weird connections. Like I think about this in football every time. For some reason, I don't know if you guys ever look at this. The Jaguars and the Dolphins. I know this is an NFL and it has nothing to do with the conversation. They always pick for some reason Florida State and Florida players. I
Yeah,
have
like
no
the
idea
Patriots.
why. I have no idea
The
why, but they
The
do.
Patriots does Rutgers. They pick Rutgers.
That's true. That's another thing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does happen, but I mean, it would be interesting. I think the Nuggets team like that. I think he would have
Yeah, I don't
trouble
think he'd
finding
fit.
a role
Yeah,
because
that's the thing. I
they
don't
have a
think
lot
he
of
fits on the
depth. But you know what? I mean, listen, a player like him, you know where I really would think he would do really well, and I know that this is going to be a little crazy. I'd like to see him on like the Warriors with Steph Curry. I think personally that he'd be a matchup like nightmare.
He's got so much potential. It's
He
scary.
does have
It's
so much
scary.
potential. That's the
Oh,
thing. And his shooting is really what takes his game to the next level. Because you're always like with some of these foreign players, you're like, all right, yeah, they got like the skills, but he can shoot. You know what I mean? And I just see nothing but offensive potential with him. You know what else too? Another team that I think he would fit really good in. How about the Mavericks? You know what I mean? Playing with like Luka Doncic. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, there's just so
That
many
would be
places that he would fit in.
Wow, that would be really interesting.
Jeffrey, how about the Lakers? I mean, that would be pretty cool too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, to play with a guy like LeBron, like obviously LeBron's terrific at getting out the ball. I mean,
Anthony Davis is hurt like every other game. So
that's true. I mean, Anthony Davis, well, they even could play Anthony Davis at the five, like against the bigger guy, because Santi's, could play out on the perimeter a
he
little
needs
more.
a year. He needs a couple of years before you're throwing him in the starting lineup.
No, I didn't say in the starting lineup. I said like I mean, he's obviously probably going to come off the bench. Anthony Davis would still start, but I mean, listen, guys can make
Sky's
impact.
the limit. I think the sky's the limit with Santi.
He does have a lot of potential. There's
I think
I
think his only knack would be I think he has to put on a little more muscle because I feel like some guys would just, especially if he's playing defense, he physically.
He's gonna get.
He probably wouldn't be able to stop like Joel Embiid in the paint.
That comes
probably
like
be a struggle, but I don't think anybody can
build up that muscle over time.
Yeah.
Another thing I also read was he's gonna be the first player if he gets drafted from Spain. He's gonna be the first Spaniard to get go to college and then get drafted.
I did see that.
And there's been 9 Spaniards in the NBA, and they've all come from like clubs.
Well, yeah. I mean, Luka Doncic is playing like professional basketball, like 17 years old, against like grown men.
Gasol's like Rudy Fernandez. I think Ricky Rubio.
If you can name any more after those 4, I will be so surprised. I was gonna say I'm like all right, the Gasol brothers and Rubio. Who else?
Rudy Fernandez. Yeah. He's not in NBA anymore, but Danilo.
Oh, you know what? Danilo Gallinari is from Italy, so no.
Yeah, Italy.
You know who? I don't know if you guys know this guy, but I remember him. Willie Hernan Gomez. He was from
yeah.
Him and his brother. I think it's
Juancho.
Juancho.
What a name that is, Juancho.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, you know what? I mean, the Gasol brothers. I mean, I think Pau is retired. But Mark, he's still in the league.
Pau's playing for the team. He's playing for Spain.
Pau?
Wait, I did see that. I think
Pau Gasol is playing for the
Yeah,
Spain
he's on the roster.
Really? And I also think he signed a deal with the team in Spain for the Spanish league or whatever, the La Liga, whatever they call it.
Oh, well, I guess that's interesting.
I heard Mark might leave the Lakers too to go back to Spain. I heard that too.
Shanghai Sharks, maybe. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's move on. Let's move on here. Let's get this combo back on the tracks here. So obviously McCormick mentioned before. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. I have his info in
It's
front of me. I'll
Yakimovich, I want to say.
Yakimovsky.
Yakimovsky.
Y-
Yakimovsky.
Yandrij Yakimovsky. So he's from North Macedonia. He was actually, I believe, in that same tournament that Santi was, the U18 tournament.
Oh, the one he won MVP for?
Yeah, well, this guy actually had a pretty good tournament too. His team finished fourth place, 18.4 points and 9.4 rebounds. That's pretty good against the same competition that Santi was going up against that he made his mark in. You know, I mean, that you have to respect that. You know what I mean?
I'm actually gonna pull up Santi's stats from that real quick. Let's see what he had.
So last year he played for Washington State. 25 minutes per game. Believe it or not, he did not put up that great of stats as he did in the tournament. But you know what? Sometimes it's a tough time adjusting. So I do think that going to the Patriot League is going to make things a lot easier. And, you know, he's going to probably have a team that also wants him, right? Like, I mean, clearly, if he's leaving, there must be a reason for that. So I also have, too, here, he chose Loyola over Texas Tech. Isn't that pretty surprising?
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty
Very
surprising.
You know
Yeah,
what?
sure.
He's coming with the hounds, man. We're giving the bite, bro.
You're giving him
We
the
give the
bark.
bite. He already knows what's up.
I mean, I
No,
get.
honestly, I think it was Ivo Simovic.
Yeah.
Man, he has got crazy connections, and Loyola is now being like, I don't know, slowly but surely being recognized as a European pipeline for like college kids, you know,
Yeah.
and it's crazy, and it's, you know, I'm perfectly fine with becoming that, but you know, we're gonna dominate
Dallas Mavericks.
years to come, like years to come, you know, and it's gonna be
Go to
crazy.
Loyola, then go to the Mavericks.
The Mavericks and the Spurs. The Spurs take a lot of foreign guys too with Popovich.
Do they though? I mean,
Yeah.
besides Ginobili, but Ginobili was from Argentina. That's in South America.
But I'm saying like
the
just
only guy I can think of is Tony Parker.
Tony Parker.
You
Ginobili,
can only name one.
No, there's a guy who's the point guard right now.
Patty Mills. He's from
Patty
Australia.
Mills. There's another one.
he's Australian.
White. Who's White?
Oh, Derek White. I think he's American.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's. Oh no, he's from America. Never mind.
No,
All
but
right,
they
so this
Manu
guy-
Ginobili, Bellinelli, like they've been.
Oh, Marco
Yeah.
Bellinelli is from Italy. Yeah.
They've been pulling guys for years.
No, there's
But
certainly
aside from that,
there's certainly plenty of basketball.
The players too.
There's certainly plenty of basketball talent in Europe. I don't think anyone's doubting that. I mean, we just had the MVP come from Europe. I mean, I couldn't even tell you what country he was from, but you know, Nikola Jokic obviously had a great season.
Cody, how many points did you say? What were the guys' stats? Andre's
stats? In the tournament last year, he had
2019 U18
18.4 and
FIBA U18 European Championship.
18.4 points and 9.4 rebounds.
Okay, so Santi averaged 18 points and 7.6 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 2.3 blocks, and 1.9 steals per game.
You know, this one might be different because I'm doing the research now. It says European Championship B. So maybe it was the other bracket. But still, I mean, I imagine that they are, you know, similar.
Like, look,
it's still a big deal.
I mean, I don't know how good this guy's going to be in comparison to Santi.
Oh, I think it would be ridiculous to just assume that he's going to be Santi. Santi was a terrific player and put up insane stats. So I don't think you could ever assume that anyone's going to be Santi.
You know what's going to be different this year, though, also, is that we're going to have Cam Spencer back for the whole, like, hopefully the whole season. But he came back for, like, 2 games right at the end of the last season. And Santi, like, was just not carrying the team, but like he was
tearing it up for us.
Right, exactly. And you know, like I think like Golden's gonna have more experience this season, you know.
Everyone's only gonna get better with another season.
And you know, like Jalen Andrews like leading this team and like Kenny Jones stepping up and he's got a good shot, you know. It's looking good. You know, we're in a good spot. I don't think there's a lot of teams that can compete with us. Like, I mean, obviously can compete with us, but I mean, like I think we're the favorites to win the Patriot League.
I will say I don't know if we're necessarily the favorites, but I will say this: the league is wide open. And very quickly, I want to hear from both of you guys, and then I'll go after. Just a quick, like, what do you think the season's going to be like? Like, what do you think is a realistic goal for the team? We'll start with you, Jeffrey.
Well, I mean, you obviously want to win the league, and coming off of last year, the expectations are going to be sky high. And then another thing I forgot to add about this whole Santi conversation is I felt like when they found their starting five was Santi, Golden, Jalen Andrews, Cam Spencer, and Kenny Jones, they didn't play a lot together. But when they played together, I thought that was the best five. And I think it's going to be really hard to replace Santi in the middle. But I think if we don't win the league, like I don't want to say it's disappointing. I think we should definitely be at the top or near the top. Like if we get to the final and lose again, like I guess it's a good season, but I feel like anything short of a March Madness berth is disappointing. But I just don't know how the team's gonna be this year because
You're
we're
losing your
not
best player, so
top.
it's
Yeah.
I think it's hard to judge.
But
I'm
you're
gonna be
getting the best player in the league.
what?
Andres is arguably going to be the best player in the league next year. There is no one else. Tucker Richardson, maybe.
Hold on. You just said
There is no one else in that league, man.
You have no. This is a guy who averaged, and listen.
He's from the Pac-12, dude.
He averaged 5 points. How many
From
points?
the Pac-12.
How many? Hold on. You're acting like he's gonna just be a fill-in for Santi. He's gonna be the same thing.
No, he's gonna average.
How many points do you think Santi would average if he played in the Pac-12?
He's gonna average a double.
He would probably average. He would probably average at least like 15, right?
I think he could do 17 and 10.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm being realistic. He would average at least.
I am
15.
being realistic.
This guy played 25 minutes every game, and he gave you 5.
He didn't have any touches. He probably wasn't the best player.
He didn't have any touches.
Well,
His free throw percentage was 60%.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that's not a good sign either. Like, I'm just being realistic.
Santi was 60%.
I'm being realistic. I don't think that.
No, Santi's free throw percentage was like 60% last year.
Okay, yeah, I know, but I'm saying, I mean,
yeah.
No, that was no doubt. That was a team-wide struggle is that we missed free throws.
They were like terrible free throws.
Yeah, but what I will say this, I think it's ridiculous to assume that this guy, with all due respect, I understand that he was a 4-star recruit and came from Washington State, but I think it's ridiculous to assume that he's just going to come in and be Santi 2.0.
Bro,
because number one, there's an adjustment period. Number two, what if he comes here and what if he's like, no, like I really do, like, I'm not trying to be this negative, but I am. He's the highest recruit Washington State ever had since Klay Thompson, and he had 5 points last year. I would say that's pretty disappointing to the fans at Washington State, right? I think it's fair that I think Washington State expected a lot more out of him. Like I said, I'm not trying to bash him.
Yeah.
I think when they signed him, they're like, oh, okay, this guy could be pretty good. And then when he gave them 5 points and left after 1 year, safe to say it was a little of a disappointment. So to assume that he's going to be Santi 2.0, I think is unfair to Santi. No. You're acting like it. To assume that he's going to be Santi 2.0.
Cody, if Santi was still here, bro, Santi would be averaging 25 points a game next year.
Yes.
Because there's no one else in the league at all who can keep up with him. Dude,
there was nobody last year who could keep up with him.
I mean, like, Colgate did beat and lock him down.
But on most nights, I mean, he still played relatively decent.
No one.
He's the best player on the floor. Yeah. No, but you can't just say that this. How do you pronounce his name?
Andres
Yakimovsky.
It's unfair to say that Yakimovsky will be Santi.
Well, number one, they play different positions. Yakimovsky's a small forward, so.
But he gets boards.
Yeah, I understand that, but so Golden's gonna.
I think they're gonna play him in relatively the same way, though, if you think about it, because Santi played a lot out on the perimeter.
That's true, but I know nothing about this Yakimovsky guy, so maybe I'll have to watch some film. But I mean, it's just not going to be the same team because
it's not
going to be down low, and Golden is nowhere near as talented as Santi is, especially offensively.
So that gets me to my point. I just think it's unfair to assume. Yeah, and I know Jeffrey said on March Madness berth, McCormick. I'm going to assume that you probably assume the same thing. Like, what are your expectations? Just give me it short because I just want to make a point.
Yeah, I think they're going to the Final Four. Sure.
Stop. Okay, so the Final Four of the Patriot League, maybe. I think it's realistic to expect them to, obviously make the semifinals of the Patriot League. And I think whatever happens there, you just tip your hat. I think it's gravy.
Bro, if we don't make the Final Four, it's a disappointing season. Like this
of
is
the
our
of the Patriot League.
no of the
Oh,
tournament.
stop
The
it.
Final Four.
Stop.
Stop.
I don't want to hear
Stop.
this nonsense.
Yeah, this is
Stop
nonsense.
it.
This is getting to
No,
the
all right.
this is getting to the nonsense
honestly,
hour.
my take is this. I think Jeffrey's right. I think that if we don't win the Patriot League, it's a disappointing season.
Okay, well, the only thing I just wanted to say for real quick because I knew you were going to say that. I think it's unfair to just think that we're just going to make the championship, albeit we are returning 4 starters, and I think that there's a lot of potential there. But to expect that, I think, is a little wrong. I do think that we can have a solid season. I think that we should probably be top 3 in the league in the regular season. I think that we should also probably have a chance to make the finals. To win, I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea. But I think we should at least make the semifinals of the Patriot League.
Something also that to take into account too is like I don't know if you guys remember seeing this, but I think it was like a CBS thing. Had Loyola ranked within their top 40. Now I know it's because Santi was still on the team at the time, but I mean, it is
losing him cannot be understated. Like that is a huge loss, no matter what.
But you know what? I have some hope now because we got Andrej. I think he's a really good addition. I'm gassing him up, obviously. I mean, I'm a huge homer, but like I do think there's a lot of potential because, like you've been saying, Cody, this league is wide open.
It's wide open.
And you know what? I honestly think that like Loyola is now, and I think this is great. It takes some time to like develop a program like this, and I think Hardy's been doing a great job. And
no, I think he's done a terrific job of building the team compared to where it was.
This is a good transition into what this basketball, because they've just been in no man's land for years and years, and now they're actually going in some type of direction. Like if you look at Gonzaga or even Loyola,
I think it's unfair to convince.
No. Here's
compare any mid-major to Gonzaga.
No, here's my point. Gonzaga was like a mid-major basketball program.
Yeah, before Mark Few got there, yes.
Right. No. It was the late 80s and 90s. They went on, I think it was 1 or 2 runs with this one coach, and then he dipped. And Mark Few took over.
Mark Few is what built it though into what it is today.
No, it wasn't. No, they made like the tournament twice. And
no. Making the tournament is a lot different than making the.
They went on runs with a different coach, and that's what got them. Like people were like, "Oh, Gonzaga," and then their coach left for a better job, and then Mark Few came in as like probably an assistant. I'm assuming. I'm not.
He's been there since 1999.
Right, and it was right before then that he had they met on a couple runs, and they became like a household name, and that's what happened to Loyola Chicago. Now everyone knows who Loyola Chicago is. We go on a couple runs next year. I mean, man, we can push Sweet 16. I could see it.
Well, I think listen, I'm never gonna say no to that because I'm sorry. Like after watching last year, we watched literally Oral Roberts beat Ohio State, and that was
I had that first pick. I had that pick.
No, you didn't.
No, I had the first 10 picks right, and then North Texas beat Purdue.
You didn't have that,
bro. I'll show you my. No, whatever.
You didn't have that. Stop.
I did.
I know you didn't have it because you didn't say it when it happened. I didn't hear from you once when it happened.
Jimmy, I had that in my 5th bracket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. What bracket did you have that in? Your 15th or your 18th? Like, oh yeah, I had it in my upset bracket. Like, okay, so you were wrong for the other 15
No, I had
brackets
it 10 for 10. I had the Oregon State one.
No, you didn't. I had Oregon State too, actually, but you know what? I'm not here taking credit because you know what? I didn't win. Who'd you have winning the whole thing? Who'd you have winning the whole thing? Michigan?
Michigan.
Yeah, okay, they were out. So, see, you really weren't that great of a bracket. But anyway, besides the point, I mean, anything can happen in March Madness. We know that. But you know what? I do think I understand the expectation. Do you want to make the tournament? We all want to make the tournament. The team wants to make the tournament. The players want to make the tournament. The coaches want to make the tournament. The school wants to make the tournament. I don't think it's uncharacteristic to assume that we should be there, especially when a league that's wide open and a team that returns 4 starters and has a transfer coming from a Power 5 school. There's certainly a lot to be excited about with the team, even though Santi is leaving. So I'm going to pretty much wrap it up there. Is there anything you two want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to touch quickly upon like the other guys, but I'll let Jeffrey go first if you have anything.
I was just gonna say we also have these two brothers coming from Serbia. I don't think we talked about them.
Oh, I did not know that.
Illich brothers. I'm looking here.
They're
The one,
twins.
Yeah, they're two twins.
the one averaged 20 and 10, and then the other one averaged 18 and 9 in some tournament or something.
I know. I think that was their stats in high school.
Yeah,
In
but they were
Serbia
both
high
part of-
school.
yeah, they were both part of the Serbian national team system, and they participated in numerous age group teams and camps prior to coming to the U.S. for high school. Yeah,
Serbia, huh?
It's evident that Milos has better numbers, but I was watching Bel
yeah.
Bel-
Velchko? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how to, but he has good post moves. I was watching some of his film, and he's like moving around pretty well and quickly too. You know, they seem and they can shoot as well. You know, so it'll be interesting to see that. One guy who I think is going to make an immediate impact is this guy Chris Kuzemka. He was like the class 6 player of the year in Virginia.
Oh.
So, and he also was a preferred walk-on out of Virginia Tech and decommitted.
For basketball?
Yeah, no, for football.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a story.
And he was like, it's all about his love for the game because he loved basketball. That's his day one. But he's
All right.
175, and he's got he plays big, good defense, nice handles with the ball, good court vision. I was watching a couple of his films, and he looks really, really great. But he wants a chance of playing in the big dance.
All right. Well, you know what? It sounds like we got some solid additions coming in next year with a couple solid starters coming back next year. So there's definitely a lot. I know we lost Santi, but you know what? Let's be a half full, or glass half full kind of radio show, not a glass half empty.
He's a district and region player of the year, as well as Virginia's High School Coaches Association Class 6 Player of the year.
All right. So some nice accolades there.
I was also reading that there's an article from Tavares Hardy who said that Nick Marshall, one of our other guards, can make an immediate impact. And also like they have Nick Marshall and then David Brown, who are both guards, I'm pretty sure, and they're like big dudes too. Like they're like tall guards, which I think is really cool. But yeah, overall, I think we got a lot to look forward to this upcoming season. I mean,
yeah, certainly. All right, so with that, that's going to be it for the WLOY WLOY. Wow, WLOY. I sometimes I call it that. You know, you get what I mean, folks. The ATW Summer Special. We focused here on Loyola basketball here today. Jack, thank you for coming on. We enjoyed having you. A lot of, you were a lot more down to earth this time around than last time. And then Jeffrey, nice to see you as well. I'm sure we'll see you again soon, and maybe we'll do another one of these if some Loyola news comes out. But until then, everyone, have a great summer, and then we'll see you soon. Take care, guys.